Before we get into the hottest updates of the day, a direct request for you who follows everything about Manchester City. Drop a like now, subscribe, and turn on notifications. This helps the content reach more supporters and make sure you never miss any important change involving signings, departures, behind-the-scenes stories, and decisions that can alter the course of the season. It's quick, free, and massively strengthens our work. With that done, let's go straight to the news, because today we have big situations involving Antoine Semenyo, Tijani Reinders, Ryan Cherki, and also the club's moves regarding Michael Olise. Manchester City are living a moment of maximum intensity on and off the pitch. The team are fighting for results, keeping a strong run going and, at the same time, moving behind the scenes to adjust the squad, reinforce strategic positions, and plan for the future. The first name dominating conversations is Antoine Semenyo. The Bournemouth forward has made it clear internally that he wants a defined plan for his situation and does not want the negotiation to drag on without deadlines. He has told the English club that he expects clarity on dates and procedures linked to a possible transfer to Manchester City. Semenyo is not just open to a move, he is actively pushing for it to happen as soon as possible. The objective is simple: to make the jump to a team that competes for every major title, work with Pep Guardiola, and take advantage of his physical and technical peak to play at the highest level. At 25, he is going through a phase of confidence, aggression, and productivity, being one of the hardest players to mark this season. The interest from several top Premier League clubs is no coincidence, but his desire is clear when it comes to Manchester City. See in Semenyo a concrete opportunity to diversify the source of goals and ease part of the responsibility on Erling Haaland. The club understand that at times, the dependence on the center forward has been big, and the presence of a forward like Semenyo, who attacks space, presses the opposition's build-up, and finishes with personality, would add a different layer to the attacking system. The players' staff have spoken with different clubs from the so-called Big Six, but the options have been filtered over the last few weeks. Manchester United have analyzed the situation, Liverpool monitored it after important injuries in their squad, Chelsea showed a superficial interest, and Tottenham even signaled a high salary. Even so, Semenyo has kept his priority: to wear the Manchester City shirt. There were those who mentioned a possible move from Arsenal, but that never evolved into anything truly decisive. In practice, City have consolidated an advantage and become the forward's preferred destination. The sensitive point now is the negotiations timetable. Bournemouth would prefer to keep him at least until after important fixtures at the start of January. There is a release clause of around £65 million valid until a certain period, and that puts Manchester City in a comfortable position, since they can simply trigger it if they want to speed up the process. At the same time, there are discussions about alternative payment structures that suit both clubs and avoid friction. City's board are prepared to act quickly if they decide that the deal is essential for the rest of the season. The attraction for Semenyo is straightforward: to compete for major trophies, be part of a winning squad, and be coached by Pep Guardiola. He wants everything resolved without messing around, with documents signed and the move completed so he can start playing immediately when the window opens. His mindset is not only professional, it is also emotional and competitive. He feels ready to be a protagonist in a team that goes into every competition to win while the Semenyo situation develops. Another important story involves Tijani Reinders and Ryan Cherki. The midfielder is in excellent form and has made that clear both on the pitch and in his statements. After a hard-fought 2-1 win away from home, he highlighted Cherki's importance in Manchester City's attacking dynamics. The partnership between the two is starting to take real shape, and not just as an expectation. Reinders scored again, showing his late runs into the box and personality in high-pressure matches. The goal came from a worked move, with Cherki directly involved in the build-up and in the pass that broke down the opposition defense. Cherki, in turn, decided the match at the end with a precise finish from outside the box, securing 3 crucial points. These moments are not isolated. They show a growing connection that has been changing the way City find gaps against deep, compact defenses. Arsenal can feel that pressure. Reinders has made it clear that the Manchester City squad are focused on winning continuously so as not to give any comfort to their direct rivals in the race for the top of the table. The message was direct. City are not going to ease off. They are not going to slow the pace, and they want to turn every match day into a reminder that they are very much alive in the title fight. At the same time, he praised Cherki, drawing attention to his vision, improvisation, and ability to decide games that seem stuck. Cherki has found an ideal environment to explore his creativity. With Haaland, Bob, Foden, and other players drawing markers, he finds channels to drift into and create unexpected moves. This has helped Manchester City to vary their solutions. Instead of relying on crosses or long balls, the team are starting to find short passes and line-breaking combinations more often. Reinders is a key piece in this, dictating the tempo in midfield, defending and arriving in the box by surprise. He also spoke about the direct impact of working with Pep Guardiola. He mentioned the tactical demands, the attention to detail, and the need to think about the game in different ways. Coming from another league, he clearly felt the physical level of the Premier League, but he has adapted and is now comfortable. He knows that every mistake is punished and that every match day is decisive. Mental consistency has become just as important as technical quality. Meanwhile, off the pitch, another front opens up. Michael Olise of Bayern Munich. Manchester City are monitoring the situation of the winger, who also attracts interest from Real Madrid, Liverpool, and Chelsea. Olise is seen as a player of enormous potential for the coming years, with a technical profile aligned with City's model. Close control, quick decision-making, and the ability to operate both out wide and in central areas. His name comes up especially because the club are planning ahead for scenarios involving future departures or natural changes of cycle in the squad. The situation, however, is complex. Bayern show no intention of selling him. They see the player as a central piece in their project and are already working on extending and improving his contract. With a long deal and no pressure to negotiate, the German clubs send a clear message. They do not want to let him go. For that reason, although the interest exists, nothing suggests that a transfer is viable in the short term. Manchester City's move is one of strategic observation, preparation, and market study internally. The development of youngsters like Oscar Bob also influences decisions. If he keeps progressing, he can reduce the urgency for a major investment in wide areas. Other wide players remain on the coaching staff's radar and are trusted to take on more responsibility. Even so, the board do not ignore opportunities and keep channels of conversation open because elite football changes quickly and unlikely scenarios become real in a single window. The combination of these stories shows a Manchester City working on two fronts at the same time, competing at the highest level right now and building the next cycle intelligently. Semenyo represents immediate impact. Cherki and Reinders symbolize the present and the future on the pitch. Olise fits into the idea of medium-term planning. All this while the squad maintain their winning run and continue to put direct rivals under pressure in the table. Manchester City supporters follow this moment with expectation. Targeted reinforcements can fix details, expand the attacking repertoire, and keep the competitive level high on multiple fronts. At the same time, balance is needed so financial guidelines are not broken, and the squad is not overloaded with players who lack minutes. The board are trying to align these two things: ambition and responsibility. To close this section, the importance of the names we mentioned is clear. Antoine Semenyo wants an objective and quick answer about his transfer to Manchester City. Tijani Reinders and Rayan Cherki are strengthening a decisive partnership on the pitch and sending direct messages to Arsenal. Michael Olise appears as a monitored target for the future, even with Bayern's resistance. All of this makes up the club's current scenario. When we dive deeper into this Manchester City moment, it is impossible to ignore how today's decisions shape not only the current window, but also the competitive landscape of the coming seasons. Every move involving Antoine Semenyo, every decisive performance from Rayan Cherki and Tijani Reinders, and every assessment around Michael Olise reveals a clear strategy. Keeping the team at the top will demand constant renewal, Without abandoning the style of play that has turned the club into a global reference in Semenyo's case, the conversation goes beyond just his goals and assists. It is about his collective impact. He offers depth, acceleration, and the ability to attack spaces that wear down opposing defenses over the full 90 minutes. In matches where Manchester City face very low blocks, his aggressive movement opens gaps for late runners like Reinders. In more open games, his physicality and finishing give another dimension to the counterattack. This versatility explains why City take the negotiation so seriously and why the player himself insists on a clear timetable for his move. The dressing room can feel it when a name of this profile gets close. The arrival of a forward like him raises the internal competitive level. Players sharpen their focus, train harder, and understand that minutes on the pitch will be earned every day. That keeps the intensity high throughout the season, especially in congested periods of the calendar, when Cup and Champions League decisions demand deep squads. That is why the board are analyzing the chain effect that Semenyo could generate in the group dynamic. Not only in the starting 11, Tijani Reinders represents another axis of this transformation. He has established himself as the engine in midfield, linking defense and attack with vertical passes and aggressive runs into the box. When he praises Ryan Cherki, it is not just camaraderie, it is recognition from someone who sees in his teammate a partner who expands his own possibilities. Cherki drops deep, draws markers, creates imbalances, and opens lanes for Reijnder's runs, which have already turned into crucial goals. This synergy is vital in the direct battle with Arsenal. The race for the top of the table is not decided only in head-to-head clashes, but in the ability to win difficult matches away from home, under pressure from opposing fans, on tough pitches, on nights when individual brilliance needs to combine with collective resilience. It was in this context that the Cherki-Reinders duo stood out, securing results that keep City glued to their rivals and sending the message that any slip-up will be punished immediately. Cherki, for his part, is enjoying a wave of confidence that changes how the team attack. His repertoire of tight dribbles, line-breaking passes, and medium-range shots forces opponents out of their comfort zone. When 2 or 3 players close in on him, space opens up for Haaland, Foden, Bob, or whoever comes off the bench. This quick reading of situations, even at a young age, makes him a strategic piece for the present and a potential reference for the future, and it is precisely with that future in mind that Michael Olise's name comes into the conversation. Manchester City's interest, alongside giants such as Real Madrid, Liverpool, and Chelsea, shows the winger's talent level at Bayern Munich. Although the German club make it clear they do not intend to sell him, the constant monitoring indicates that City want to be in position in case the scenario changes. Modern football does not allow late reactions. Those who anticipate lead. Keeping tabs on Olise is a sign of planning, not improvisation. Bayern are working on a renewal, reinforcing the long-term project narrative and valuing the player in every possible way. Even so, football history shows that cycles change quickly. Long contracts are not absolute guarantees when personal ambitions, sporting goals, and unique opportunities come into play. City are not forcing the situation. They are simply keeping themselves informed. At the same time, they develop internal talents and coolly analyze the cost-benefit of a potential major investment. The role of academy products and young signings brought in with a long-term vision, such as Oscar Bob, is another piece of this puzzle. If he maintains his current trajectory, he can become a regular starter and reduce the urgency for a big-name winger. The coaching staff value this pathway because it strengthens the dressing room culture and creates a direct bond with the fans. Even so, the club know that competing at the top level in Europe requires a squad with multiple solutions for the same problem back in domestic competition. It is clear that Manchester City go onto the pitch today with a different maturity. After years of winning titles, the squad have learned how to deal with tough moments, injuries, dips in form, and outside pressure. The recent winning streak proves it. Even when the performance is not sparkling, the team find ways to win, sometimes with absolute control of possession, at other times through individual explosions like Cherki's, in others, through Reinder's quiet consistency, and soon, possibly with Semenyo's impact if the deal is completed, this plurality of protagonists is what sustains a winning project. There is not just one hero. Haaland remains a decisive goal scorer, but he does not carry the burden alone. Defensively, the solidity is still there. In midfield, the circulation is fluid. Out wide, creativity is renewed. Behind it all, there is a board aligned with the coaching staff, capable of making bold decisions when needed and being patient when the best move is to wait. The fans can sense this balance, and at the same time, feel the butterflies that come with knowing how dynamic football is. One transfer can change the tactical shape of an entire season. The arrival of Semenyo, for example, would open up new possibilities for lineups with two more vertical wide men, or even rotations where he plays centrally at times. Cherki between the lines, combined with Reinders attacking the box, would create an almost unpredictable attacking system. Opponents would have to spend more time adapting to City than the other way round for all these reasons. The current moment is one of close monitoring, but also of celebrating what is already happening on the pitch. It is not just about rumors and the market. It is about real performances, decisive goals, concrete wins, and personality in big games. The supporters have solid reasons to believe the team will keep fighting for every trophy they contest, tying all these fronts together. It is clear that the latest Manchester City news form a coherent picture. Antoine Semenyo is pushing for a clear decision and sees the club as the ideal setting to take the biggest leap of his career. Tijani Reinders is raising his level, taking on a leading role and reinforcing the importance of Rayan Cherki, who has been deciding matches and expanding the team's attacking repertoire. Michael Olise is being closely observed as a possible piece for the next cycle, even with Bayern Munich's firm resistance. In the meantime, the team keep winning, closing gaps and keeping Arsenal under constant pressure in the table. If you have made it this far, it is because you live and breathe Manchester City and want to stay one step ahead on all the information. So it makes all the difference if you drop a like now and subscribe to the channel. This helps the content reach more supporters, strengthens our work, and ensures you keep receiving every update on transfers, behind-the-scenes stories, and decisive matches involving the greatest team in the Premier League. Turn on notifications and stay with us, because this season promises a lot and we are going to follow every chapter together.